Hey, it's Love Coach Heidi. Welcome back for another video. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for subscribing and sending your messages, and thanks for all the thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It definitely helps us help more people when you like the video and leave a comment. So thank you so much. And if you're new here, I just want to make sure you're in the right place. Well, if you're in a relationship that it creates for you anxiety, confusion, resentment, or pain, in other words, a dysfunctional relationship, you are definitely in the right place, because here at Love Coach Heidi, our goal is to help you figure out the root of your relationship issues and pull them up by the root once and for all, so that you can really have the love that you deserve, the relationships you deserve, and ultimately the life and happiness that you deserve. You know, you can have everything else, but again, if you have a relationship that keeps you awake at night, scratching your head, wondering what you need to do to get them to change or stop treating you the way they're treating you, then you'll wonder what's the point, right? It really can be all consuming. Speaking of which, it can certainly be all consuming if it is a parent that is a toxic or dysfunctional person, because not only are you just dealing with the toxicity to begin with, but then you have this layer of expectations around you from other people of how you're supposed to handle it. Hey, that's your mom. Hey, come on, that's your dad. Just accept them the way they are, love them the way they are. And nobody really gets it. If you happen to create some distance with your toxic parent and you share that with somebody and say, hey, I'm just not speaking to my mom or dad right now, you'll find that sometimes you get that look, that sideways look, that people are thinking, what's wrong with you that you're not talking to your mom or dad? Never mind the fact that you're not talking to them for a damn good reason, likely. It is so hard. So first of all, let's talk about what a toxic parent is. Toxic is something that makes you feel sick, right? When you're toxic, you are suffering disease, right? So toxic can come in many ways, shapes, or forms, but is it making you unhealthy? Is it compromising your mental health, your physical health, your psychological health, your emotional health, your financial health? And if the answer is yes, then it is a toxin in your life. And it can be all forms. It could be a narcissistic parent. It could be an emotionally abusive parent. It could be an addicted parent. It could be a financially abusive parent. I mean, the list goes on and on. So we're not going to get too much into the detail of what's up with your mom or dad, but just know that I know that it's enough to make you click on this video, and that's enough. The fact that you're here, I first of all just want to congratulate you on taking the bold step about thinking to set boundaries with your toxic parent, because I know that that is not an easy thing for you to do. In fact, you've probably tried time and time again to set boundaries, and what happens each and every time? You pray and hope that this is going to be the one time that they're going to change. They're going to love you the way you deserve. They're going to respect you the way you deserve. They're going to treat you with the kindness, the way that you treat them. But lo and behold, time and time again, you keep getting disappointed. So we're here now, and we're at the breaking point, and we're at the point where you're going to have to take some serious responsibility for how you're going to continue to subject yourself to their particular flavor of crazy. All right, are you full? Have you had enough? Well, you're definitely in the right place if that's the case. So again, make sure you subscribe to these videos, like the video, share if it's helpful for you, and make sure you keep coming back. On a side note, if you do want to learn how to set boundaries in a much deeper way than I'm going to go into today, go over to lovecoachheidi.com and sign up for my upcoming boundary workshop, where we're going to talk a lot more in detail. And I'm going to be doing group kind of coaching where you're going to have a chance to ask me specific questions inside of a group where we're live and ready to go and get the help that you need in this semi-private kind of environment. So consider signing up for that. But I am going to give you wonderful tips today that certainly, if you do not, or you do sign up for that workshop, you're still going to get some tips today that if you apply them, they're going to change your life. So I want you to listen closely, get a pen and paper if you want to, and let's dive in. The very first thing that we want to do when we set a boundary is you want to get really crystal clear about what actually it is that you're no longer willing to tolerate and settle for. And I know that might sound pretty simple. Well, of course, I just want to know, but we don't really put our finger on it specifically. We just say, I'm sick of the shit. I just don't want any of it anymore. But there are specific behaviors that you're going to be unavailable for. I know for me and my family, some of those specific behaviors were when my dad was intoxicated and I felt uncomfortable. That was a line that I was unwilling to continue to cross and do a self-betrayal and be around that all the time. I know that when I'm in a relationship with somebody else and they start to become controlling or manipulative or demanding or critical, that's my cue to end the conversation and move on. Anytime I'm triggered to defend myself, rationalize my own behavior, or justify my own position, or anything along those lines, I know I'm likely triggered up, and a boundary is a proper thing for me to do versus going and launching into the defense mode of explaining my position. And you'll find that if you're in a relationship with a toxic or dysfunctional person, you find yourself defending your thoughts on the regular, right? Because they always want to tell you how to think and how to feel and what you should believe. But you and I both know you have a mind of your own. And you're about to use it, okay? Thank God. So the first thing we want to do is get that clarity. What are you no longer willing to tolerate and settle for? And I want you to be very, very clear about it. In fact, you might want to call that getting some leverage on yourself. What are all the things, make a list of the behaviors you've been tolerating and settle for that you know if you continue to sign up for that stuff, it's going to send you over the edge. Is it you're no longer willing to give money anymore? That's the boundary. You're no longer willing to be emotionally manipulated. You're no longer willing to spend time, extra time, weeks at a time. You're no longer willing to do the driving, the errand running. You're no longer willing to justify your position or talk about your husband with that parent because they don't understand the relationship. Or you're no longer willing to be around when they're under the influence. You're no longer willing to keep giving them money, bailing them out, doing the thing. So what is it? That's a long list. I've heard it all. As you can imagine in my coaching practice, I've been doing this kind of work with dysfunctional family dynamics for the past 20 years. I've dedicated my career to understanding this dynamic. And most importantly, sure, understanding the person that's toxic or dysfunctional, because that's a big key, but also understanding the particular brand of hell that you're experiencing. Because not a lot of people understand that. Again, there's an expectation that because they're your parent, you're somehow responsible for sucking that up and continuing on and subjecting yourself to that abuse over and over again. And you're just not. I'm just here to tell you you're not. That leads me to key number 2. There are 3 keys today. That first key is getting clarity on what you're no longer willing to tolerate. The second key for you is what I call trading self-righteousness or righteousness for reality. Let me explain what I mean there. You're a righteous person. You're a good person. How do I know that? You're watching my videos, and like attracts like, and we're good eggs. Okay, if you don't mind me saying so. Here's what I know for sure. You know right from wrong, and you know darn well how you're supposed to be treated. You know how a mother is supposed to behave. You know that she's supposed to be kind, compassionate, loving, warm, consistent, caring, all the unconditional, all the things that we think. And you know a dad is supposed to be safe, stable, encouraging, a leader, right? Somebody who is as a protector. You have in your mind the righteous view, but you don't have a mom or dad. You've got a Rick or a Janet. And what we want to do is stop living in the expectation of the role that people are in our lives and attaching to that mother or father and trying to fit them into that box of behaving like a mother or father and give up the fight of the righteousness, that this is how it should be. If you're shoulding all over yourself, you're in the self-righteousness. You're in the this shouldn't be that way or should be that way, but it is. And I'm just a firm believer in embracing what it is and how it is, because how it is, if you deal in how it is, you can make some movement there. You can make some change. If you're dealing in the shoulds, there's no hope there because it's never going to happen. You know, the likelihood of your parent suddenly realizing, oh my God, I haven't been a mom all this time. My God, the light bulb just went off, and can I cuddle you? Can I hold you? Can I make the rights wrong, the wrongs right? You know, that's really never going to happen. And you and I both know that there's a grief that we need to go through because we don't grieve the loss of the mother we never had or the father we never had. That's a process. That's part of my self-love system, is learning how to grieve those losses and make sense of the past and embrace it fully. So I'm giving you the cliff notes today. All right. When you trade that self-righteousness for reality and you say, okay, I've got a Rick. All right. I got a Karen. I got a Sharon. Now what? Now you start to educate yourself on their particular challenges. Are they narcissistic? Are they addicted? What can you learn about the nature of this person and how they operate? And you deal in the nature and the reality of who that person is versus the person you want them to be for you. That alone will change your life. If we can get the concept of seeing people clearly instead of holding the vision and the hope for who we want them to be, we are set free. Because when you deal in the reality of who people are, you can make educated decisions about how you protect yourself and your family, and how you interact with that person. But if you go in hoping you got mommy today or daddy today, you're going to be sorely mistaken, and you're going to continue to get hurt again and again and again. And I can help you make those distinctions. In fact, I have a 7-step process that I walk clients through all the time that helps them get absolute clarity on who they're dealing with versus the role of the person that they're in. I have to tell you that my clients tell me over and over again that is the one thing that they've learned to do that's really changed their lives. And I believe it. It's changed mine. So I can completely understand that. You ever see that hair club commercial where the guy's like, I'm just not a member, I'm a client, or whatever it goes. Me too, honey, me too. All right, everything that I teach, that I've been teaching over, the last 15 years of this work, is something that I had to come to understand the hard way first. So I might be saying this to you so simply, so succinctly, but I understand the hardest thing to do is actually do the damn thing. And that's step number 3. So if you want support, continue to come back to the videos, get to know me over at lovecoachheidi.com, send me a message and we can start to get to know each other a little bit better. And anyway, if you want some support now, you can always book a session, at any time that you're feeling like you really want some one-on-one attention, you're always welcome to do that as well. But let's get into the 3rd step, which is after you get that leverage, why do you need to make the changes, right? Why is this upsetting you? What's it costing you emotionally, psychologically, physically, financially? And then you trade that righteousness for reality and you start to see the people clearly. Uh-oh, I've got a narcissist on my hands, an active addict on my hands. I need to behave a little differently because it's not dad I'm dealing with. All right. Then you need to do the damn thing. And that is step number 3. And that's how you set a boundary. Now, with a boundary, we don't set boundaries in wartime. We set them in peacetime. We don't wait until the shit hits the fan and everything's blowing up before we actually come to terms and sit down and talk about how we're going to move forward. We follow the formula. We use as few words as possible. Again, you're not defending your position. You're not justifying. You're not rationalizing. You don't owe anybody anything, and no is a complete sentence. You get to say, not today, Satan, and not so many words, okay? You get to say, no more, I'm done, and not have to defend your why. You just get to be done. But the formula goes, when you, if you, I will, I want, or when you, I feel, okay, boy, I don't even know the formula. So here we go. When you, fill in the blank, I feel, fill in the blank, I want, what do you want? If you, fill in the blank, I will, what are you going to do? Okay, so for example, when you are drunk around me, I feel so anxious, completely spinning out of control in my own anxiety. I want to have a sober interaction with you. So if you're drunk, I'm going to leave. When you speak to me that way about my relationship with my husband, I feel encroached upon. I feel defensive. I feel anxious. I feel hurt. I feel sad. I feel whatever. I want to work out my issues separately and independent with my husband. So if you continue to pry and probe and ask about this situation and insert your opinion about it, I will end the conversation. Now here's the magic thing. This is the secret formula, the actually magic bullet to make all this stuff work. Here's the thing you need to know. When you set a boundary with somebody that's toxic or dysfunctional, you better expect that they are going to cross the boundary. Boundaries are not for them. Oh my God, I set the boundary and look, it worked. Lo and behold, they stopped acting cuckoo bird for crazy. Oh my goodness. That's not how this thing works. You set the boundary and they cross it. That's what happens. But what happens after they cross the boundary is where the magic happens. That is where you hold that bottom line and you do the damn thing. You do the thing you said you were going to do. And I know, believe me, that's the hardest part. when you have to walk away, when you have to end the conversation, when you have to hang up for the 50th time, when you have to delete the texts and not engage, when you have to stop sending the checks, when you have to stop picking them up and rescuing them and doing all the thing and running the million errands, when you have to say no. That's where the rubber meets the road, because that's where our relationships get complicated, because the stories we tell ourselves about how we're supposed to be a dutiful daughter or a dutiful son. And what do? You know, are we not a good person because we just decide to stop playing the game? Well, the minute you stop playing by the rules of a toxic, narcissistic, dysfunctional person, you can expect a myriad of backlash. You can expect them to come at you tenfold. And that's where sometimes you need that extra support to stay strong and firm in your boundaries, root down in your value, and be the love for yourself that you've craved from them your whole life, but they are just inept and unable to give you. That's what the healing process is. It's a self-love manifesto that you're going to say, I'm going to give myself the love you never gave me, and I'm going to start today. I'm going to give myself the respect you can't give me, and I'm going to start today. I'm going to give myself the consistency, the continuity. I'm going to give myself the respect, okay? So you have to lead the charge and do the thing. And I know you love them. Even though they've hurt you, that's a superpower. You continue to love even in the face of such pain. But we don't want to confuse pity for love. I pity them because they're a bad person. And that kind of love is toxic love. That's toxic empathy, when you can look at somebody and feel so bad for them that you keep signing up for their bullshit. We don't want to get into that either, right? So I want to encourage you, go back, watch this video again, take some notes, or sign up for that boundary workshop, go deeper dive, get one-on-one. You deserve to untangle yourself from this scenario. And I'm going to tell you what happens. I know from my own life and from the hundreds of people that I've helped, there is a root entanglement that affects every other area of your life. Your ability to have the self-esteem that you really want to have, the confidence that you really want to have in all of your other relationships, to be able to say no, set boundaries, go for your dreams, make your dreams real, start that business, end the thing, start the thing. And 9 times out of 10, we lie to ourselves and say, I don't have problems anywhere else except for this relationship. And that may be true. But I'm willing to bet that when you get at this root relationship where you're hanging on and you're shape-shifting to be who you think you need to be to get the love, acceptance, and approval that just never comes, when you could wrap your head around how to detangle from that, everything in your life changes. It shifts, it breaks wide open, and you become unstoppable. What I like to call, I swear sometimes, so here it comes. Are you ready? Muffs if you need to, unfuckwithable. And that's the goal. We don't want anything to come in your world anymore and shake you off your axis, because you are rooted in the truth of who you really are. You're pure love and light, all right? And I want to help you unleash that. I love you. Subscribe, like the video, go on over to Love Coach Heidi, deepen our connection in our relationship, but at the very least, subscribe and come back for more, okay? Like the video, let me know you were here. Leave a comment, leave your mark, all right? Give me a thumbs up or a heart or something, just or a sup or yo, and let me know that you popped by so that I can say hi to you too, all right? I love you. Take excellent care of yourself. I'll see you in another video. Okay.